You know the way you showed me taking the Hobbits to Isengard?
Oh,
You thought I'd love it.
Yes, I did.
Kind of died. Anyway, I got something that I love, but I want you to see it to see your reaction of it.
Live reaction.
Okay.
Here it is.
Isn't that amazing?
He loves it. Look.
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, it's just because he pauses and it just hangs head straight on the hang time in it. And the swearing. It's perfect.
Where did you find that little chest?
There you go. It's made by Jonkari P. Amazing CG artist, uses his immense skill to create memes. Check him out, Jonkari P on YouTube. I'll link in the description. Cheers, mate.
Cheers. Really enjoyed that.
Hello and welcome to OSW Review, the old school wrestling podcast. This is not that by a long stretch, sir. We're going all the way back to Middle Earth. It's your fool of a tuck, Jay Hunter, joined by our mithril monk, Mr. OSC.
You do?
And he's hairy and barefoot, V1.
Yeah, that was a crack.
And OSC, congrats on your Golden Nogger Award, hoarding that quarter-year award like it's the One Ring.
You have a little line for me, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
After all, why not? Why shouldn't I keep it?
Your favourite fellowship have returned for part 2, Desolation of Smaug. In this deep dive, in the first half, we'll be covering the movie, and in the second half, we'll have our post-show game show. OSC covers the behind the scenes with Appendices Part 2. I'll review the Rankin Bass 1977 cartoon adaptation, and our Pixel Professor V1 loads up the Lego Hobbit.
I do, yeah.
Multiple reviews in one review. So sing a song and leave the dishes and tuck into this satisfyingly junky deep dive. Meat's back on the menu, boys. That sounded vaguely sexual.
We were on location, on Rings, somewhere in a forest, and then we had a bit of downtime, and I just kind of, would you ever think about the potential making The Hobbit after this is all said and done, now that you've spent so much time establishing the world of Middle-earth? And he was quick to answer with, no, not interested in that.
Hobbit 2 Retrospective, Desolation of Smaug, or en français, La Desolation de Smaug. There you go. One take. We've gone over this a lot in the first Hobbit, but to reiterate and jot in some new facts. 1995, Peter Jackson originally wanted to create The Hobbit as part of a Tolkien trilogy. Part 1 is The Hobbit, 2 and 3 are Lord of the Rings.
I've actually had enough really of these complicated things.
Massive legal cluster of who owned the rights, big battle of the 5 studios, and lawsuits flying. It didn't clear up till 2006, 3 years after Jackson finished his Lord of the Ring masterpiece with Return of the King.
Let's not shut the One Ring Dominant down just at this moment.
Peter had made the decision, I don't need to direct this.
2007, New Line announced Jackson's producing the Hobbit duology, and then Guillermo del Toro to direct. He'd been mates with Jackson and wanted to direct a Halo movie, which obviously fell through, but they kept in touch. Delay, and in 2010, del Toro was sick of waiting and left. Jackson reluctantly stepped into direct, with a year and a half less pre-production.
On Lord of the Rings, I had probably 2.5 years to prepare for 3 movies. And on The Hobbit, I had about 5 months to prepare.
July 2012, the duology became a trilogy, red flags waving, but fears being allayed by Jackson. Despite the setbacks and forced unpreparedness, PJ is a master filmmaker and leader and rallied the troops. The sets were built, props were crafted, and actors ready to go. He helmed the industry-changing Lord of the Rings, and with everything they've learnt while making that, could he and the lads do it again?
Oh, what does it matter? He's back.
First part of the trilogy dropped December 2012 to mixed but ultimately positive results, ending with a 7.8 on IMDb, and brought in just over $1 billion.
It's a nice bit of moolah, isn't
Bit
it?
of scratch. Much like the first, Smaug was filmed in 3D with Red Epic cameras at 5K, 48 frames a second. The high frame rate was unanimously panned, so had far fewer showings. Only 20% showed high frame rate, 80% normal. After seeing first in high frame rate, I'm not making that mistake again. Normal?
Yes.
Yes, normal.
Oh god, yeah.
Oh, just a quickie reminder why they did high frame rate in the first place. Smoother motion, fix the screen judder when you're panning across, and it also helps with darkness inherent of 3D, but not by much. It was still a chief complaint. Other negatives is having specs on top of your specs, which was horrible, and giving an unnatural soap opera effect to cinema, especially for a fantasy epic. But yeah, look, it's very real. The sets now look like sets.
Yeah, but so does Carnation Street. It doesn't mean I want to go and see Carnation Street in a cinema.
The budget is mixed in with the trilogy as a whole, but somewhere in the region of 190 to $260 million. And the film brought in just less than $1 billion, 959 million.
Oh wow, I'm shocked that they didn't bring it back out again to like fucking force it across the billion mark line.
Directed by Peter Jackson, screenplay by the fabled Lord of the Rings crew himself, Fran Walsh and Philippa Boyens, and Guillermo del Toro, he still gets credit. Produced by Wingnut of Lord of the Rings fame, MGM of 007 fame, New Line Cinema of MK Annihilation. And distributed by Warner Brothers to an IMDb of 7.8, the same, and 74% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. 3 out of 5 by the Irish Times and Donald Clark. Let's see how our hairy heroes and high-spirited Hobbit got on. This is The Hobbit, there and back again, or en français, Bilbo le Hobbit ou histoire d'un aller-retour.
Oui. Can you imagine?
Before you came along, we Bagginses were very well thought of.
Indeed.
Never had any adventures or did anything unexpected.
If you're referring to the incident with the dragon, I was barely involved.
So this is an adaptation of chapters 7 to 12 of the Hobbit book. Can you kick us off there?
Quaah Lodgings, Jay.
Pardon?
Quaah Lodgings.
Quaah Lodgings.
Did you choose this word on purpose, Jay?
It's the start of The Hobbit 2. I had no
Did you
choice
get in
this.
there with your like Tipex?
He rewrote. This is his edition, actually. Do you want me to read the
First.
paragraph?
Yeah, go on there.
Okay.
Quaah Lodgings.
The next morning, Bilbo woke up with the early sun in his eyes. He jumped up to look at the time and to go and put his kettle on, and found he was not home at all. So he sat down and wished in vain for a washing brush. He did not get either, nor tea, nor toast, nor bacon for his breakfast, only cold mutton and rabbit. And after that, he had to get ready for a fresh start.
That was a bit shite, wasn't it?
It started high with...
Shut it down.
Yeah.
It started really high with the name and then kind of trailed a bit.
Yeah.
Curtain up before the events of Hobbit 1 year ago. We're in Bree on our way to the Prancing Pony. He lifted that from Unfinished Tales. Oh, there's PJ, eat that carrot. And his daughter Katie.
Oh, watch it!
Sorry, darling.
Gandalf confers with Thorin, surreptitiously finding out that Thorin's dad, Thrain, was wearing the dwarf's ring when he went missing, presumed killed by Azog.
This is, I think, one of the best scenes in the movie, actually. Really good. I love Bree. From Fellowship, it introduced us to Aragorn, so that was a great point.
Are you frightened?
Yes.
Not nearly frightened enough.
I think in Unfinished Tales, this was actually a chance meeting, whereas in the movie, it wasn't, which makes a lot more sense. So Gandalf was basically searching out Thorin to try and get him to go and reclaim the mountain. Obviously, Gandalf wasn't in the movie that much, so it's nice that he has most of the focus of the scene. You know, Thorin does his job and he's angry and he's whingy, much like he was in the first one.
He's very whingy.
He
in
is.
this scene.
He's very whingy. But I did enjoy coming back to like Gandalf always encouraging the hobbits to do what they should be doing, but he doesn't want to force them to. In this case, well, he's a little bit more forceful with Thorin, but basically you need to go and do this. This is important. And it kickstarts the whole thing.
The ring your grandfather wore. One of the 7 given to the dwarf lords many years ago. What became of it?
It was pretty cool. And then Gandalf finds out that Thrain was wearing the dwarf's ring when he went missing. So neither him or the ring are found. I was like, oh, dwarf's ring. There's 20 rings of power. So tell us about the 20 rings of power, Steve.
Uh-huh.
1 ring to rule them all.
3 rings for the Elven Kings under the sky. 7 for the dwarf lords in their halls of stone. 9 for mortal men doomed to die. 1 for the Dark Lord on his dark throne.
I just finished it, yeah, go on.
In the land of Mordor, where the shadows lie, 1 ring to rule them all, 1 ring to find them, 1 ring to bring them all, and in the darkness bind them. In the land of Mordor, where the shadows lie.
I don't like the last line. It's like an additional line.
Yeah, it's just a repeat of the first line.
Yeah. I think he was
like,
hot dogging there.
Yeah.
Or it's full circle, like a ring.
Oh.
There we go. Look
There
at the
we go.
Tolkien mark here. You love him. You go marry him.
It was picked up by the most unlikely creature imaginable.
What's this?
A hobbit.
So 20 rings of power, but all of them inferior to the 1 ring. Who's got it now? Bilbo, after nabbing it from Gollum. Jumped over him, kicked him in the head. Do you remember? When we last left the lads, wargs were chasing them. Jobbed out. Who were called off the hunt as Azog is summoned to Dol Guldur by the necromancer. It's literally 5 lines, like, I need you to lead my armies instead. Could you not have just sent a note? Like, you sent a note saying, come to Dol Guldur. Would you not just say, I need you to lead my armies? Anyway, Azog's got busy work now. Bolg, you'll have to chase the dwarves in my stead. And it's not mentioned here, but Bolg is Azog's son.
Very good.
I thought Bolg looked cool. Like the way he had the kind of metal like hammered into his skull. Yes, you're probably ranked very high on the meter of the game. Was it the Nemesis system?
Yeah.
Where like the orcs were like tiered.
Yeah.
I bet you Bolg is like number 2.
What's the Nemesis system?
It's from the game that's set in the Lord of the Rings world.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't
Shadow of Mordor?
Shadow of Mordor,
Yeah.
thank you.
Mm.
Nemesis system is where certain events will happen and the game will remember how you play and what happened while you were playing, and then the Nemesis that you meet will reference it. And so it's a lot more involved,
I want some. Make it hurt like you hurt all the others.
A bit of a spoilers from the appendices, but Desolation of Smaug is the last third of Unexpected Journey and the first third of the Battle of the Five Armies.
Oh, when they were going to do 2 films. Is
Exactly.
Yeah.
So all they've done is chop, chop, squish.
Chop, chop, chimp. That sounds horrific. So the end of one movie is the start of the other, and start of one movie is the end of another.
Yeah.
So that sounds all over the place.
Yeah, it sounded to me like they couldn't be bothered to edit down into 2 really good movies. We all know they could have edited it down. They could have taken a lot out and had 2. I think it would have been actually 2 awesome movies. But anyway, they ended up going the easy route.
Oh, okay. The hobbits take refuge and sleep in a barn with livestock. Cow, goats, bees. See, Beorn is a beekeeper. He keeps bees.
Beads.
Bees?
Beads.
Beads?
Job's not on board.
Beads. Bees.
Terrible CGBs. I'm guessing they were literally put in there for people watching the movie in 3D to go, whoa, 3B.
Brilliant. I'm on board. Whose barn is it? Beorn. Oh, baby Beorn here. A shape-shifting bear.
Couldn't hit the broadside of a Beorn.
A bear wolf.
He's a great character in the book. The CGI to me looked fine when he was the bear. I know a lot of it was in the dark, but it looked fine. He was very polite and nice to let them stay in his gaff. He knew they were there. the dwarves and Bilbo and Gandalf basically had a kip in his gaff, and he was okay with that.
And he was a bear, and then he turned into a humanoid, and then he put on pants.
And, you know, the cuff he has on one of his wrists that from when he was a slave, or that was not fully fleshed out.
I was like, excuse me? He used to be a slave?
Him and his ilk were sent off to be hunted and basically treated very unpleasantly. So he's the last of his kind, which is why, or that's the reason he detests orcs so much, and why he normally doesn't like dwarves, but he hates orcs more, so he's willing to help the dwarves. But he has a cuff left over from, obviously, the days where he was in captivity. But when he's a bear, I'd assume his arm is going to get very, very much bigger, and I don't understand how the cuff works.
It's made of rubber, you see, so it expands and it's quite thin.
And the prisoners are very polite; they don't try and take it off themselves.
I always think of like Hulk rules, you know, not Hulk Hogan, Marvel Hulk. Bruce Banner wears his pants, and then he turns into this giant hulking green monster, and the pants stretch, and then when he goes back to human form, he's just wearing pants again, you know?
Yeah. It's like the size of a house, though. Like that's what's Tony Stark. That's his greatest invention. Those pants. Yeah.
It's a bit like the shorts I'm wearing today with the, they're a bit jingly jangly and falling down.
Are they on? Yeah. It's like Schrodinger's pants here.
Schrodinger's.
We get some lovely crunchy axe chopping cuts. Yeah.
Choppy chimpy, like.
There's a fantastic cut in Better Call Saul when Lalo's in Germany. He's tracking down the German Casper, and there's a picture. It's like Jimmy and Kim, and they're embracing, and it's just cut in two. It's like, oh, it's an amazing cut.
It is pretty great. Kim, this is fantastic.
Did you like the scene where Gandalf was like bringing out the dwarfs, you know, and one by one they fall? It took like 6 minutes. And like, you can tell this is padded movie. This should have been 90 seconds, you know, biff baff buffer, and we're done. Do you like that?
Yeah, I really do.
Didn't even write that down. So I'm currently playing Elden Ring, as I like to tell you guys about, because it's great. And this guy, Beorn, makes me think of the Rune Bear.
Ooh.
So, you know, when you're going through the forest.
Excuse me.
Hey!
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, you can do it as well.
And sorted.
So Elden Ring, yeah.
It's incredible.
Wait, who's he remind you of?
The Rune Bears. Just big, massive, fuck-off, hulking beast bears who live in forests and caves, and they're terrifying.
Oh, okay,
very
cool.
Good.
Gandalf the Grey? Don't know him. And he's like, well, he, sir, is me, sir. Gandalf catches us up to speed, introducing the hobbits to Beorn and to us, and tells him of the dwarves' quest to reclaim their homestead. And we get the V1 special! They need to journey to the Lonely Mountain before the last light of Durin's Day to go through Mirkwood via Old Forest Road. Gandalf is foretold by Galadriel to trek to the tombs in the mountain, the High Fells. Lads, meet me at the overlook before the slopes of Erebor.
Oh, Fimbri, merchant of Grimoire, lead me along the slopes of Bilbao.
Bilbao. Atletico Bilbao.
Yeah, with Beorn Munich.
That's great, Steve.
The High Fells.
Gandalf's gonna go off on his own side mission, and the wizard gives them parting advice. Stay on the fucking road. What was the point of Beorn? Since he hates orcs more than dwarves, he gives them horses. No, ponies. Perfect size transport for dwarves.
Yeah, I think a solid start to this movie, actually. The introduction of a character I liked anyway. Bit of trivia for you.
Yeah?
You know, did you notice before they go into Mirkwood, it's raining? Like, legitimately raining? New Zealand weather, much like Irish weather, unpredictable. So, because they had filmed some scenes one day and the other scenes the next, they had to have consistent rain. So, they CGI'd cloud cover. There you go, on the scenes that were sunny. So, there you go.
That sounds really annoying. Like,
yeah, I know.
To have to deal with
drawing
that.
It all in. Yeah.
Luckily that, you know, like this movie was made in an age where you can do that and you don't have to sit there waiting for either rain or sun.
Yeah. Or Samurai Cop it and put a wig on the sun. Yeah?
Come on, we must reach the mountain before the sun sets on Durin's Day. Let's go. is our one chance to find the hidden door.
We've reached Mirkwood Forest. A dark magic enchants these woods. It isn't safe. Twisted branches of great looming trees, an unwelcome grey with a thick mist over this murky swamp. Bilbo almost faceplants into the water. Did you get a bit of Dead Marshes?
Serious marshy vibes here.
Yeah, bit of Dead Marshes, with Frodo, yeah. And he sees dead bees! Sorry.
You're on a real Nick Cage bee related.
The lads are tripping bees! Tripping balls. Bilbo flicks cobwebs, and it gives you just enough time to realise what makes a cobweb and what that means in Tolkien's world.
Yeah.
It's like, and did you like the kind of trippy atmosphere?
Yeah, I loved it. Like when I was obviously watching the cinema, more engrossed in it, you almost feel like you're there and you're almost kind of going along with the whoa man atmosphere. I liken it to a movie that's of no relation and very, very different. The Father with Anthony Hopkins that was released in 2020-ish. It's about a man that has Alzheimer's and you're seeing it. I haven't seen it in a movie before and I'm fascinated by that disease. I don't know why, but it was told from his perspective. So you're living his world. And you're confused. It's like almost a thriller because there's new people coming in all the time and he's saying, who the hell are you? I just felt as drawn in here that I felt I was in the forest with them.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Wait! Stop!
Mirkwood Forest, it was heavily influenced by Del Toro's work. They just kind of stole it and just used whatever he has. It's got going on, twisting branches and stuff like that. And they're saying, okay, let's up the psychedelic atmos and let's spray reds and greens and pinks and purples and stuff like that. So it looked proper trippy. And then Peter Jackson was like, let's just desaturate the whole thing. So it's like all of that work and it's like, you can't see it in the final film because it's so color graded. I would have liked it to be blisteringly colorful though. But I get that it wouldn't be as scary if it was colourful.
Exactly. It's more like Dr. Dolittle or something.
I can't picture it being colourful and like murky is in the name of the forest. So kind of makes sense that it's, kind of greys and, and a bit dark.
Bomber KOs. Of all the people to go limp and you have to carry around. Bomber.
Yeah.
Oh. How much does this guy weigh?
You promised we'd never go back to Art O'Donnell, OJ.
He must weigh a hobbit ton.
There
you go.
But he's a dwarf. But yeah.
It's like and let's climb upwards with this lad. Upwards.
But say we were in Mirkwood Forest, right? Stay on the path for fucking starters. But if you happen to wander off, say Jay goes, la la la, Mr. Burns like on I bring you love. Like if you didn't know where you were, you go up. So I think they did okay here. Okay. After the stupidity of going off the track.
Okay. As OSC recommends, Bilbo climbs a tree to get some fresh air, and we get a bit of Matrix 3 temporary relief in the sun. Do you like that? It's
I love
above
that.
The clouds. That remember that? Who's that coming up? Oh, that is not a Rey Mysterio moment. But who's that coming from over there? Spiders! Not Shelob, but related. Her descendants. Gets the same fate stitched in the tummy. And they're like, it stings!
It stings! It stings!
Callbacks, Jay.
Yeah.
This was by far, in my opinion, out of the 6 movies, the best use of the ring. Like, I love any time Bilbo or Frodo wear the ring because you get to see all the crazy shit that they can see and Sauron looking at them and all that stuff. But in this case, it was really useful, not just for hiding, but he could also understand what the spiders were saying. I just thought it was brilliant.
It was really cool. Yeah.
I was kind of wanting, like one of the voices be like, I'm going to make myself a little Hobbit sandwich,
Finish it all. The meat's alive and kicking. Kill him now. Let us feast.
To retrieve the ring, Bilbo violently stabs a spider. And, we worry he's being corrupted by the ring. Because he's like, mine. Mine. And it's here we get a Bilbo twiddle the ring count. First one, sleeping in the barn. He's like, oh. Second one, before entering Mirkwood. He's like, oh. And third one, retrieving it after the spider attack. And 45 minutes in there.
Can you put a little sound on that in the edit? You can take it out if you don't like it. Yeah.
Okay. The first one goes, The second one's a hubba hubba.
Hubba hubba.
So Bilbo and the lads are fighting off the horde of giant spiders. Things are getting a bit hairy, and then they're saved by the elven lads. I feel like this scene is going, hey, Lord of the Rings fans, remember this?
Yeah.
Obviously, Legolas isn't in The Hobbit, and Tauriel is new. Just a new creation for the film.
Hot elf.
She is was, I don't know, I haven't seen her in 10 years, but...
She's in Ant-Man, and she
was
great.
so terrible in Ant-Man. She's like the worst, coldest actress in the entire MCU.
Yeah, but we're not judging that.
In her behind the scenes when she's chatting about The Hobbit, the fucking cut of her. Okay, forgive the short pixie haircut, but she's got a big dirty, sweaty face on her, big, massive tin cup earrings, and unsalvageable. She's wearing cut-off fingerless gloves.
Yeah.
Did you like the bit where Legolas is slagging the dwarf and he goes, "Oh, is this your husband?" And he's like, "No, it's my wife, and we have a son, Gimli." And he he gurns at the camera.
He said, "And who's this little mutant goblin?" I thought it was actually hilarious. Yes, of course, more fan service, but that was a laugh out loud moment for me. Very good.
Who is this? Your brother?
That is my wife.
What is this horrid creature? A goblin mutant.
That's my wee lad, Gimli.
The elves bring the dwarves to their woodland realms. The elves are presented as blonde, pointy-eared Vulcans, basically, joyless and emotionally guarded. In the books, they're more fairy-like. Tauriel is the closest to a regular human, able to showcase emotion and some sass. Immediately, Killy is on the pull. He's like, "Are you gonna search me?"
I could have anything down my trousers.
Or nothing. It was like, oh, that's good.
It was good.
Solid.
I like their back and forth. I actually thought I was going to hate this. I was like, they're going to like shove in this.
What?
Will they, won't they angle. I actually liked it.
Yeah, I don't know, Steve. No.
You know what, this scene, yes.
I hated
scenes,
almost every second of this nonsense, but yeah.
Is that because you know what's to come? Do you know, it gets worse as it goes on?
Yeah, but even at the time when I first watched this, I was thinking, it's been 5 minutes and they're...
Get to the hobbiting!
But, when he's in his little prison cell and they're having a chat and it's all magical, no.
It's horrible, yeah.
No. And I mean, I'd understand if it was Peter Jackson wrote the movie by himself, but he had help. Females were also involved in the writing of this movie.
Fran Walsh,
Philippa Boyens. They're people too. They're not just females.
Females are people too.
You know what I mean, Jack. But there is no way anyone should write this tripe. You bought into it. You bought into this.
I just thought
romance.
it was cute. Yeah, I just thought it was fine.
All light is sacred. Is that why all the lights are on? All the time. Like, do you
think of the bills?
Yeah, I know. It'd be crazy in this economy.
I have seen the world fall away, and the white light forever fill the air.
I saw fire moon once. It rose over the pass near Dunland, huge. We took the Greenway south.
I think, guys, you might want to join the party.
Slut! What is going on here?
A quest to reclaim a homeland and slay a dragon.
Elven King Thranduil, the heel here, played by Eugene Levy. What's happening with those eyebrows? Caterpillars, man. Lee Pace, Ronan the Accuser in Guardians.
Oh.
Read Amrad, O soul! Do not talk to me of dragon fire. I
I know its wrath and ruin.
I think he's fantastic, actually. He has the best performance in the movie.
What do you like about it?
Smarmy, arrogant, condescending. He looks down on everyone, not just the dwarves.
Because he got an awesome throne, that's up high.
The throne is amazing, but even his own people, even his own son, he has disdain for them.
Can't believe you like Evangeline Lilly. Kate from Lost, get out of here.
And he's a bit of a badass as well when he chops off the orc's head. So I really bought into this character.
What about you, Jay? What did you think of this lad?
I immediately didn't like him, and he was slippery and slimy, condescending and dismissive. Yeah, I thought he was great.
I thought this guy was the worst actor in this movie. I thought he was overacting. He was hammy. And the way he got in his face,
it's very acting.
It felt like this guy was doing a play, but not a big play, in
West End.
The fucking Norwich Civic Centre kind of level of acting,
School assembly size
crowd.
Like.
Yeah. I very much disliked him, and I couldn't wait for his scene to be over.
Wow.
Shame.
And you sort of just get right in his face.
Do not talk to me of dragon fire. I have faced the great serpents of the north.
He figures out the dwarves' mission, the right to rule via the Arkenstone, and himself and Thorin tell each other to sod off. Thranduil's put over as a heel by saying he only cares for his specific domain, won't help any areas outside, even stopping the source of the spiders and saving himself work later on, throwing the lads in prison. Stay here and rot. 100 years is a mere blink in the life of an elf. Which is true, 144 years is one elf year.
Oh, wow, okay.
We offer you a deal.
He did. I told him he could go Ishkarkve on Dol.
Translating what Thorin says in response.
May my excrement be poured upon the naked jawed.
Yeah, naked jawed, those without beards, the elves, yeah. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah. I liked how he had Thorin's number. Now, everyone kind of has Thorin's number. But he basically, Thorin's again giving out, he's just not having it. Go on then, piss off to yourselves, see you in 100 years.
I like the way Thorin, he was talking to the rest of the cavern and not the king. So all of the elves here trying to muster a bit of that didn't work, but yeah. Kind of blew up in his face.
Very bad at the rah-rah speech.
Negotiations.
Yeah. I want to say this set was gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. Elden Ring mentioned number 2.
Oh.
Very similar to the Deep Root Depths, which is an area underneath the Erd Tree. So in Elden Ring, there's this massive golden tree that looms over the entire world. And when you go deep underground, they've built towns and cities on the roots. And so that's what made me think of that. Yeah.
So this was your favourite green screen from the movie then, Steve, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We're never going to reach the mountain, are we?
Not stuck in here, you're not.
Thanks to Blibbo, who had hit himself with the ring, he burgles the keys and ushers the dwarves into the empty barrels. And none of them steal a bottle of wine. What discipline!
I do have a point.
Yeah.
I understand that Bilbo keeps taking off the ring and leaving it off when it's way more convenient to have it on. I understand it's because he's uncomfortable wearing the ring. It makes him feel unsafe and, Sauron, flashes of the eye, etc. But I want them to draw attention to that more than Bilbo takes off the ring. It looks like he's just forgetting to put it back on because he puts them in the barrels and then he's kind of trying to hide. Just put the ring on, dude.
You could have done it in a 15-second scene where he takes off the ring and he just goes, what was that?
Yeah.
Oh my God. That was terrifying. Or Jesus. You know what I mean? He could have done loads of things, but
use the ring sparsely. Yeah.
But they don't.
3 hours, 4 minutes runtime, but we couldn't get 2 lines explaining why the fuck these barrels and this whole contraption is here in general. The elves like wine, humans from Lakewood deliver them by the lake and they dump them back in the river down to them afterwards. The orcs have caught up with the dwarves. Pearl Harbor the elves, led by Bolg. But at the gate, Killy alights to help even the odds. And we get the closest we get to a babyface death. Killy's shot in the thickest part of the thigh. Oh, Steve, are there any kind of action sequences in video games that are like this? So you're kind of in the water and there's baddies on the banks, if you get me?
Resident Evil 5, there's a bit where you are in the swamps on a boat and you have to get off about 2 or 3 times to open the sluice gates.
Oh, well, yes. Yeah, well done. I was kind of thinking Resi 4 when you're on to do the minecart madness. You were stuck on the minecarts and the lads kind of jump in or whack a axe at you or whatever. You know?
Yeah.
But that's
so Resi basically.
Yeah. Resi do it well.
Yeah.
They don't call that level minecart madness, do they? That'd be amazing.
I think that's Donkey Kong Country. Tension room. He just comes into the cave. Minecart madness. Sounds rather pleasant.
He looks at the camera like Crash Bandicoot.
Looks up like.
Bomber makes good on his earlier country with an awesome fight stance reveal. He's like, pow, pow, and then like twirls the axes around. Thought it was kind of like, remember Captain Commando? Mac the Knife, he did a bit of a twirly thing.
Ah, he did.
From dwarves hitting the water to cutting away to Gandalf is how long?
Oh, this went on for ages, like 8 minutes.
Bang on, Steve. It was going on so long. I was just thinking this must have taken weeks to shoot, and you're all permanently soaked in cold water. 98 hours of footage they had.
Of this?
Yeah, they shot 98 hours of footage.
And it's weird because it's some of the worst looking scenes in the movie because some of the CG is horrific here. Bilbo is bouncing down off of the rocks. I was like, how did this make it into the movie in 2013?
Yeah.
Come on, lads.
There was a shot when the orcs were running after the dwarves that have fled, and there's one orc. He's the closest to the camera on the left. He's on the leftmost side of the right of the bank, and he looks horrible. It's like, that's really bad. You guys forgot to put in the lighting on it, you know?
Yeah. And there's the first person shots. That's when Bilbo was hanging on to the side of Dwalin's barrel. And a fucking state of it. It's awful.
By the way, this was a lot of the actors, or a lot of the dwarves' favourite scene to shoot. So even it was because it was kind of like a theme park ride, going round and round in the barrels. Because obviously they were on a set doing it. But yeah, 98 hours later, still enjoying it.
Oh, favourite Legolas kill?
He did it probably 3 or 4 times during the whole movie, and I enjoyed every one. It's when he kills somebody with an arrow and they're probably a foot away.
That's same with me. Point blank to the face. It's my favourite kill. Brutal.
Yeah.
I think my favourite one, there's one in Laketown where one of the orcs jumps up and he's on a balcony or a window and he gets the 2 swords and cuts off its head.
Fantastic. And the dwarfs escape to safety. Just in a bit of kayfabe, delivering barrels that way makes no sense here as the stream is fast moving, it's narrow, treacherous, like lots of
rapids.
Lots of rocks. It would smash up those barrels. But in the books, it's very wide and slow and serene, a lazy river, and it's a rest. So yeah, anyway, it makes no sense.
Did you notice the way there was a limited amount of barrels? And there just kept seeming to be empty barrels around the place. So Bomber destroyed his barrel and then, hopped into a fresh one. It was a bit convenient for my taste.
Something's not quite on the level here, is it?
Yeah.
The orcs had barrels that they were throwing at them. And I was like, they're using the barrels! Act 2, Gandalf at the High Fells breaks a step getting into the door. It's like, poor sod, the next guy that has to use those stairs. Treacherous. He uses his staff light, much like in Moria. Who's that behind him?
It's your boy.
Dr.
Radagast.
Snuggles, friend of the animal world.
Oh, Manuel Badspliff here. Much like how Jar Jar's role in episode 2 was greatly reduced after episode 1's disaster, Radagast's role is greatly reduced to this and outside Dol Guldur, the Hill of Sorcery. See, a necromancer has summoned the ring raids to Dol Guldur, something no ordinary entity could do. Radagast recommends to investigate and deal with this, not the dwarves. I cannot forsake them. They are in grave danger. Come on! All right, they're on their own. Yeah. Anything here?
Radagast is the key to all this.
I may have gone too far in a few places. Elf King interrogation. Thranduil presses the last remaining orc for information.
Tell me what you know. You have nothing to fear.
I was like, that's such bollocks. Like, I definitely won't cut your head off. Which he does,
like
48 seconds later.
Oh, yeah, like this orc has seen every other orc killed. So
he's special orc.
We get one piece of info from it. A sexy dwarf has been stuck with a Morgul shaft. Excuse me. Poisoned. Death is imminent. The Elf King initiates a lockdown. Nobody in, nobody out. No one to stop the carnage. But Spittin' Toriel has already left, and Legolas goes to catch up. Ketchup.
Goes to catch up. He's hungry.
Anything before we move to Laketown?
No. I don't want to talk about Laketown.
Oh, okay. Let's power through.
Hate it so much.
Oh my god.
no.
Yeah, because when they got to Laketown, my take was like, this entire scene shouldn't be in there.
No.
It adds nothing.
No.
Mm. We meet Bard, the dirty face of him, the beard, shabby clothes. He's like a taller dwarf, basically. The lads need rest, food and supplies, and he agrees to smuggle them into nearby Laketown as the lads grumble about money. I'm like, Bard's a baby face. He could easily have gotten them down to half or free if he weren't such a miserly bollocks about it.
Who?
Thorin and the lads. They're like, oh, the money, I gave you the money. Yeah. Where's my money? I promised you promised me weapons for the money. It's like, oh, what?
He's such a dick. His quest is to go to the giant mountain full of gold.
Yeah,
Mate,
take it.
I think he'll be all right if Bard gets a few quid, yeah? Feed his family, you know?
Yeah.
Da! What's that all about?
This
Irish
guy,
for like one.
this guy, the boy actor is Scottish, but he puts on a Welsh accent. It's all very strange.
Welsh, Irish, Nordy.
It's all
over the place.
Just that
bad
mixing pot.
Da!
Why are there dwarves climbing out of our toilet?
Will they bring us luck?
Shirkers, ingrates, rabble-rousers. You mark my words, that trouble-making bargeman is behind all this. No one else would have the...
Bollocks, sire. Ram and goat sautéed in a lovely little mushroom gravy.
Yeah, they're a bunch of miserable old
bollocks.
Sire, Master of Laketown, Stephen Fry.
Now that I discover the truth, I'm disposed to beat you to death. Tea!
You get everything you need to know about the character in a couple of lines. He's a curmudgeonly, cowardly miser that despises the people he rules. And so he's chatting to his mate Alfred, who was made up for this movie. He's eating the bollocks and he's kind of eating sloppily. Is that like a heel thing?
It's like the Steward of Gondor.
Yeah, Denethor, yeah.
Yeah, when he sends out Faramir and the boys to basically get killed and he's slobby. Yeah, that's...
Eating the tomatoes. Yeah, brilliant.
Jabba the Hutt, basically, isn't he?
Mm.
Ho, ho, ho. We hear there's tremendous rumblings in Laketown, but that might be something to do with the sausages. There's political upheaval from the masses. Townsfolk see Bard as the people's champion.
Sorry, just mark out when you're wrestling.
Yeah. He is a babyface as he gives your man a coin and free fish, and he's got the love of the people as they help hide the stowaways from the Gestapo here, like those lads with the kind of pineapple helmets. I was getting, Blackadder when him and Melchett are captured. And it's like, food on the table, ein, zwei, spit on the food, ein, zwei, ein, zwei, ein, zwei.
Is this when they're pretending to be German or they're captured by Germans?
They're captured by Germans.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And they both get punched in the knob. It's like, trust me to get the hard one.
Ein, zwei, now! Ooh! Trust me to get the hard one.
The lads stealthily sneak into the armory. Who's gonna fool of a tucket? Mess up and all hell breaks loose. Killy, give the guy with a gammy leg to hold all the weapons. And he pratfalls down the stairs. They're brought to the Master of Laketown, where we get a nice crowd shot. Look at all those local actors. At least 24 of you get a payday. By the way, casting call for extras was shut down after 3,000 plus showed up. They expected 1,200 maybe, but it was enough that police showed up. And they abandoned it after 800 and just finished casting it online.
Shame. Like, if I lived anywhere in New Zealand, yes, I would be queuing up for days trying to be an extra in this.
What race of Middle Earth being do you think you'd be most likely to be cast?
Gandalf.
Not even Radagast.
I've said what I've had to say.
Master seizes the opportunity to tear down budding opponent Bard. Let's not lay blame, but it was your ancestor to blame. He missed his mark. I laughed so hard at that. See, Bard has generational disgrace as his dad missed a killing blow to Smaug with the fabled Black Arrow.
I really did like the reason that Bard is so heavily involved is, you know, his ancestor couldn't kill the dragon. It adds a little bit of weight to Bard slaying the dragon, because if I recall, that is not mentioned in the book.
So he did, PJ did good.
Yes, and by the way, Bard is a fucking badass in the book. Not here at all. No.
He has his one, like, most badass moment, which is just, what right do you have to rule? And it goes to Thor and he's like, I have the only right. And he's like 2 foot tall.
I know, yeah.
So, you know, his little hard man, it was like 4 foot smaller than you. You know,
Could you take a dwarf seriously?
No. You're all bomber to me. Like.
Really?
Yeah.
Swinging an axe at you?
They probably goes, Pricko! You know what I mean? It's like seeing like an 8-year-old with a leather jacket.
Right.
You know, and the black shades. Like, I'm not taking you seriously.
You're not having it?
No.
Oh, no. I mean, like, they swing axes probably bigger than men's size axes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'll probably just, like, move back slightly.
When do you stick out the hand rested on their forehead?
Like one of
when
the
do you
only
do that?
occasions I can do this to someone, I'm taking it.
We must not, any of us, be too quick to lay blame. Let us not forget that it was Gillian, Lord of Dale, your ancestor, who failed to kill the beast.
Master smearing works. The entire town is twittering his name. He sends our heroes off with food, supplies, and transport in return for a share in their wealth.
Did you notice, though, how little Thorin cares about his drunk gang not turning up the next day to go and fight the fucking dragon?
Yeah, 3 of them don't come.
Fair enough, he says to Killy not to go because you'll slow us down.
Yeah.
Then he lets 2 others hop off the boat and tend to him. Well, like, there's people here that can look after him.
Yeah.
And then,
Buffer.
And
it is Buffer, is it?
Buffer.
Jimmy Nesbitt.
Yeah.
Jimmy fucking Nesbitt. I can't stand him. I just can't. Sorry, I can't handle him. And like, you know, he travelled down to New Zealand thinking, well, I'm one of the only well-known actors here. You just know he did.
I've done more BT ads than everybody else.
Life is great and life is fine, 'cause I met a girl and no one likes you.
You're annoying me a lot now.
It's all gone quite well, overlooking the lonely mountain, not waiting for Gandalf, which is great because he actually isn't coming. Balin says,
It was once the city of Dale, now it is a ruin. The Desolation of Smaug.
Oh, he said the thing! He said the name of the movie! This truly was an unexpected journey.
This truly was the Battle of 5 Armies.
This really was Attack of the Clones.
The enemy has returned.
Dol Guldur. Lovely sweeping shots as Gandalf investigates Dol Guldur, the Hill of Sorcery. A grey rundown.
Onwill Catagum Dol Guldur on Maris.
Small shade of Ole. A grey rundown fortress with foreboding spikies. I thought the cinematography is lovely. Obviously not as nice as Lord of the Rings, which half of the movies are just spent looking at beautiful establishing shots, marvelling, gazing at the breathtaking scenery. This wondrous world of Tolkien, Peter Jackson has brought to life the idyllic homestead of the Shire, the ethereal, intricate vista of Rivendell, the statues of Gondor kings at the Riven Anduin, the awesome kind of bookcases that they have. In Hobbit 2, we get one shot of the Lonely Mountain and this unwelcome grey catacomb, like basically like the inside of an Iron Maiden. And that's it.
Yeah, it's quite ugly, actually.
Oh, we get a shot of Beorn when he's chopping wood. We kind of look at there's like a valley, and through the valley we see the mountain with snow top hills. That's quite nice.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right.
That was 15 seconds.
Yeah, yeah. When you think Lord of the Rings movies, including The Hobbit, you should be thinking, sweeping shots of lads running across fields.
Yeah.
And there's one just before they get to the forest that lasts for like 20 seconds, and then I think that's the last one.
Kanini Satadu Vaxa!
The Wandering Wizard gets Pearl Harbored from above. Billy Connolly? It's Thrain.
Billy Connolly?
Man, you got to watch this film with subtitles. You get way more out of it. Oh, actually, yeah, okay. He was cut from the theatrical version. Makes sense. So they cut the bit at the start when Gandalf mentions him in Bree, and then they just cut him out here of getting Pearl Harbored, and then they cut him out from the background when Azog comes around. They just paint over him, so he's not there.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
And that's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
There's no point to him being here.
But like, this is, in theory, an important scene. It should be, and it doesn't go anywhere. But, okay, wow, oh, look, there he is. We talked about this guy quite a lot. And look, he's alive, and here he is. Could they not have squeezed this in?
Yeah, he's the dad of the main dwarf.
Yeah, but yet we're going to keep 8 minutes of barrel riding.
Yeah.
Thrain says he's been trapped here a lifetime, was tortured but never gave in, but had his ring stolen. And his wallet and keys.
And his dignity.
Gandalf gives him comforting news. He'd be proud of his son Thorin, who's questing to reclaim Erebor. The 7 armies of dwarves will answer to a new king. Oh, did you like these flashbacks, Stephen?
The battle at Moria. Yeah, I love it. But more of this. This is what I want, like, really beautiful looking battles with all sorts of different creatures. Ease up on the CGI, but I've learned to accept it. This, to me, like a little flashback of 30 seconds is worth more than half an hour in Laketown.
Okay, I'll give you 2 minutes of this and 2 hours in Laketown.
No, thank you.
Can we just finish Gandalf's story now, instead of cutting back and forth? So he got Pearl Harbored from above, from Thrain, then Pearl Harbored from the side by Azog, and then Pearl Harbored from the front by the Necromancer, revealing himself to be a not yet fully powered Sauron. Final shot is him imprisoned in a not unlike Jesus pose, Scott Stapp pose. Helplessly watching the orcs march out of Dol Guldur towards where Thorin and Co are in the Lonely Mountain.
I like that. Nicely wrapped up, Jay. Yeah, Gandalf wasn't a big player here.
Just complete side quest.
Yeah.
Someone who was literally I know that they're trying to get across that Thorin is the guy and he's the one to watch out for, but it's like, man, you've done him dirty for we're at 5 hours now? Seeing Gandalf being kind of pushed down to the sidebar is kind of weird, but I do understand that it's setting up something that has already come. So it's kind of getting you hyped to go back and watch the movies that you actually love.
No, Thorin must not go near Erebor. No one must enter that mountain.
Act 3, The Lonely Mountain. Literally 2 hours into the film, our company reach the hidden door at the Lonely Mountain. The last light of Durin's day will shine upon the keyhole, so the lads stand in front of it, shadowing the keyhole. It's like lads.
What did we miss?
We had but one chance.
Come away.
The burglar figures it out. Good man, Bilbo. The last light is the moonlight, which shows the keyhole. Durin's Day, if you're wondering, is Dwarvish New Year's, celebrating the last moon of autumn and first sun of winter, where both appear in the sky together. Durin's Day, 2023, 15th of October, and 2024, 3rd of October.
Isn't a Durin a fruit?
Oh, that's a hearty durian.
A durian, okay, close enough.
Yeah, schmelly.
Oh yeah, the ones you get them in Singapore or something.
Yeah, very good. Yeah. And the Great Plateau, I guess. Inside, Gloin reads the inscription. Gloin.
Arr, my gloin.
You fuckers.
Herein lies the 7th kingdom of Durin's folk. May the heart of the mountain unite all dwarves in defense of this home.
Okay. They just hammer home, we need the Arkenstone. Is it magical? Just invaluable? So what? They'll just steal it and what? Sell it? What are you doing?
This is literally the question that I have written down for you, Steve. As like, can you tell me what the Arkenstone is and why they want it so much?
No.
Is it just a symbol?
It's just a symbol.
Bragging rights.
It's not like if it was worth, 10 trillion
ducats,
Hobbit dollars or whatever, yeah. So what? Nobody can afford it.
Yeah, you can't put it into a Coke machine and get change.
But say he gets the Arkenstone. He needs to bring it somewhere else because he doesn't want to wake Smaug. So he needs to bring it somewhere else and set up kingdom there anyway. So why does he need it? I don't know.
His plan was to steal the Arkenstone, but then run away from Smaug.
Yeah, that's why
the gold.
That's why they needed a burglar.
But you can't have your home or the gold.
Yeah,
as long as Smaug lives.
Yeah, I suppose in Gandalf's head, like in Thorin's head, all I need is the Arkenstone, and then I can unite all the dwarf armies under Thorin.
And he's like, let's get Smaug together, is it?
Maybe.
Okay.
Would it not just cause a civil war where they all, it's easier to kill Thorin and take the stone for yourself than to fight the dragon?
Yeah, they just Rochambeau. Kick him in the balls, grab the Arkenstone. He gets kicked in the balls, grabs the Arkenstone. He gets kicked in the balls, grab the Arkenstone.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's like, join me and together we will take down the dragon. Nah.
If there is, in fact, a live dragon down there, don't waken it.
It's time for why we're all here. Smaug the Dragon, played by Benedict Cumberbatch, Benadryl Slumberclatch, Cucumber Dangleshire, Crumble Spork Fanny Patch. Bilbo takes a goblet, revealing yes, Smaug is here. Is he alive? Can you make it like a sneezing sound? Yes, he's alive.
I loved how the gold kind of falls down and you see his face. And then 300 meters away, you see a second trickle of gold and you see his tail and you're like, fuck, this dude is massive.
Okay, there's a dragon who's alive and who's waking up. Put on the ring. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Smaug's eye-opening to going invisible, 25 seconds. In the book, it's instants, and in the animated 1977 Rankin Bass, it's 22 seconds. And this is what the whole film's quality hinges on. Burglar Bilbo is confronted by a giant dragon and try to talk his way out of it whilst locating and pilfering the Arkenstone. And it's a home run.
Something you carry. Something made of gold, but far more precious.
There you are, thief in the shadows.
Wonderful Sherlock reunion here. BBC Sherlock with Holmes and Watson, Cumberbatch and Freeman. It was on before, during and after The Hobbit. It started in 2010. So it popped me huge.
Frailty of genius, John. It needs an audience. Get out. I need to go to my mind palace.
I think my husband might be having an affair.
Yes.
I know the smell and taste of dwarf.
You have good manners for a thief and a liar.
Yeah, very good. Flattering out Smaug, the unaccessibly wealthy, Bilbo spots the Arkenstone in the piles, just on the gold. I was surprised it wasn't on Smaug. You'd expect it to be on his belly or something, you know? The tyrannical dragon reveals his knowledge of Thorin's quest. They're drawn to gold like flies to dead flesh. Bilbo is such a terrible liar. He's like, I know about you and the dwarves. Dwarves? Arkenstone? I don't know what you're talking about. His compliments buys himself enough time to see Smaug's belly, sees the black spear was on the mark. It removed a scale. So, Smaug has a weak spot.
It's the vent in the Death Star.
Yeah.
Very good, Steve. Yeah. The magnificence of Smaug the Stupendous tortures Bilbo, telling him Oakenshield has weighed up his life and it's not worth saving. Considers just giving him the Arkenstone as it will drive Thorin mad. Where's he, by the way? Getting a reaming from Balin. He's selfish for leaving the Fairclough defense. Okay, fair
Why
enough.
did it go down that route?
Thorin heel turns, raising his sword to Bilbo, more concerned for the treasure than his life. They escape Smaug's fire and bail to safety with a big Dolph Ziggler selling the fire. He's like, all right, come on. Anyway, weird.
Come on.
I really liked it. I can't remember really what I thought watching it for the first time.
What's all these then?
Sock puppets.
I'm slag.
I can't see it. What I mean, it's knocking up me peepers.
Okay. So what?
Yeah.
Okay.
We could ruin it, no problem.
You're more talking. Okay, the performance then. We'll say the voice performance. Yeah. Okay. Yes, nailed it. Couldn't have picked a better actor with a better voice to do this job. In the appendices, they have 15 minutes of Cumberbatch acting as Smaug. He's got the motion capture suit on and, you know, the headgear and the
dots.
Motion capture dots and all that
Balls
in his face. Yeah. And well, they're little dots rolling around on the ground. He's getting into character, you see, which is unnecessary. I mean, motion capture his face. Happy with that because it does line up quite well with, they showed a side-by-side shot with Cumberbatch and Smaug. You don't need to be motion captured to do a good voice performance. I mean, I don't Bambi. Like, I don't think that whoever was voicing Bambi was on all fours for the entire time. Do you know?
I heard they literally shot the actor to get that performance.
I don't think so.
I was thinking, let's wrap up the other storylines before getting back to Smaug.
Oh, there was no other storyline.
I was so annoyed when they took me out of this scene.
Yes.
Because this is literally what they've been building up for near 6 hours now.
Yeah.
And we're finally getting it, and it's great. It was worth the wait. I very much like the back and forth. It's a tiger pawing at its caught prey. We know Bilbo doesn't have a chance. The only thing he can do is like squeak every now and again and hope that keeps the monstrous teeth from closing in on it. I am going to OOC WrestleMania 3 this and say the Gollum scene was better, in my opinion.
I think so too. I don't think that's controversial.
But that's not to take anything away from this. This is great.
And obviously it's very similar to, because it's Martin Freeman talking to a dangerous creature, trying to talk himself out of this situation. So it's very much like with Gollum, but except this one's a huge dragon that could eat him at any point. Do you have any more thoughts on that?
Martin Freeman was great. Cumberbatch was also excellent. Their back and forth is fantastic.
Little Snizzlewick fanny patch.
And they weren't even in the same room, which is a shame.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Martin Freeman would just have to be there and looking at him swabbing around
just laugh.
A sheepskin rug. Yeah,
he had a sheepskin rug. That's what he was doing his voice acting on.
Wow.
On all fours on a sheepskin rug. It's like,
yeah, Peter Jackson said, I'm not using you for it, but I'm doing it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I brought it from home. Yeah. I'm fucking doing it.
So he mocapped his face, but they just use it for like reference. Let's wrap up the other storylines before getting back to Smaug. Toriel uses some herbs to heal the deathly ill Killy. He feverishly speaks of her beauty, which just comes off as, I've been having a good hard wank about her.
Yeah.
And I still am.
No pillows in Laketown. He rests his head on a bowl of walnuts.
That has to suck.
Yeah.
It was like, this is the softest nut we have.
She's far, far away from me. She walks in starlight in another world.
The action scene was abysmal. I'd rather go and watch WWE Raw because there'd be less camera cuts and less shaky cam. The state of it.
Yeah, and then we see the awesome kill, the springboard decap. By the way, the orcs ransacking Laketown. Who cares? It's already a shithole. Even during the day, it's dark and depressing. A rundown, rotten shanty town above murky water with floating turds.
It's a literal shithole.
Bard is arrested.
On what charge?
Any charge the master chooses.
Hey-o.
He's tag teamed by master and servant. All right, with 159 minutes down, 26 minutes left, it's your Smaug Part 2. So the lads make it into the vault. Earlier, Bilbo lies saying he found his courage, but Thorin actually finds his, seeing the bodies of so many next to the exit, which is caved in, permanently blocked off. Initially, they tiptoe around, the dragon patrolling overhead. I was quite surprised Smaug couldn't smell them so close, considering he could smell one hobbit when he has the ring on. You know?
He was probably flustered. I mean, that's what I was...
He's bothered and confused.
Yeah, that's what I was telling myself. He didn't know. He didn't know which way was up, Jack.
It's that. Thorin taunts Smaug to lure him to the forges and defeat him using giant QTEs.
You have grown slow and fat in your dotage. Slug.
I was like, how do you slag a dragon?
You've grown slow and fat in your dotage, you slug, you worm.
Then it hits me, it's remarkable that a hobbit, a dwarf, and a dragon all speak the same language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the world of Tolkien, elves speak Elven or Sindarin or Kenya. Men be familiar with Elven too, as Númenórean descendants. The Rohirrim speak Rohirric. Dwarves speak Khazad-dûl. Orcs are in Black speech. But Bilbo, Smaug and Thorin are probably speaking Westron, the common tongue. And thankfully Tolkien translated it to English for our benefit. Lots of fight scene, busy work. It was like, watching this, it was like, was this what the second director shot while Peter Jackson was ill? Like, yeah, just here, run, what's that? You know, a lot of that going, you know?
You weren't into it?
Taking forever.
It was mindless action. That's all, like the barrel ride. It was a MacGyver-y maybe. So yeah, let's put that up there so we can do this. It's like, just get on with it. Like, we know you're going to eventually do something, so can we see that?
Well, I'll see you in 12 minutes.
Not until we pass the 3-hour mark, sir. I'm literally paid by the minute.
It was cool to see the mines of Moria start to awaken again. The centuries-old mechanisms creaking back to life. Giant gold smelting pots, pulley systems of colossal cogs and camshafts. Shot of Bilbo jogging away from Smaug. Jeez. And there's a Thorin shield surfing. He goes, ooh. Oh, wow.
You have come from Laketown. Is some sordid scheme hatched between these filthy dwarves and those miserable top-trading lakesmen?
Those canting dwarves.
The cant is to talk hypocritically, sanctimoniously, derived from to sing or to chant. Canting.
Nice.
Very good.
Thorin's big play is revealing a giant gold statue which transfixes Smaug enough to see it melt and the tidal wave of gold washes over him.
That was cool.
And I was like, oh God, is he gold plated now?
Whoa.
Did you just give him super armor?
Yeah.
Why didn't they do that?
Oh, it was so sad. And then he just like shakes it off.
And if you're going to go to all this, say 15 minutes of this, he was straight up and out. I mean, could you not have a little bit of tension here?
Yeah.
Maybe they walk a bit closer and then all of a sudden he springs up, you know, or you could have, do you remember in Game of Thrones when they poured the gold on your man's head and then you're doing, you know, they could do something like that here.
It dries instantly,
you know. Or what you could have is, it's now we're getting silly because it's going straight to T2. You could have him like, he's lying near the furnace and then, you know, he's bloop, 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 and then he melts and he's back to normal.
And he comes together?
Yeah. Well, that's silly. That's really silly.
Okay.
Like, that's like Spaceballs silly.
So when Smaug gets covered in gold and he dies and he's and then he just gives a big thumbs up. Before he melts.
Bucket.
A third film, yes, because that's where we end. Can you give us I am fire, I am death?
I am fire, I am death.
Smaug is coming to rain fiery vengeance upon Laketown for their hand. In this, okay.
Yeah.
Couldn't care less. Couldn't care less.
Yeah. And Bilbo closes us out with, what have we done?
Boof. What have we done?
Did you like it?
The boof?
Yeah.
Brilliant, yeah.
Smash cut to black and have Ed Sheeran start singing to make sure everyone gets up and leaves. He's like, oh, Misty, okay, I'm going. I'm clearing out.
Oh, misty eye of the mountain below.
So, OC, Mamor, what did you make of Desolation of Smaug?
I remember giving, on fourth viewing, giving An Unexpected Journey solid 6 on 10. This is slightly better. So out of 3 hours, about an hour and a half is shit. At least an hour and 15. But there's still like almost maybe 2 hours of a really, really good movie here. The start is awesome. You know, the meeting with Beorn, Mirkwood, meeting Thranduil, and then the end with Smaug. Great. There's a great movie hiding there. It's just, let it out. Make 2 movies. I know, we've made the point. Yeah, I'd probably give it a solid 7, even with its problems with, you know, at least a third of the movie is really shit.
If you took out the barrels and Laketown completely, what would the film get?
We could be up hovering around a 9.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Business time. But pretty happy?
Yes, overall I'm happy.
Okay. As you guys remember, I very much disliked the original Hobbit movie.
But you've seen 2 movies and played 2 Hobbit games. How can you like it?
You're a mark.
I gave it a 4 out of 10 because I said this is below average movie. I thought this movie was significantly better. I watched it in a single go. I couldn't do that with the first movie. I enjoyed it for the most part. I do agree. Chop off an hour and you've got yourself a significantly better movie. The barrel scene's gonna go. Laketown's definitely gonna go. You can chop minutes off of multiple scenes and you can have yourself an excellent movie. I don't remember music from this movie.
There's one Laketown song. There's a sting that's nice. It's like, and that's it for the movie.
There's nothing special
That's
in
it.
this.
Yeah,
it was poor.
Oh, drink all day. Like, you know, we need more of that.
Yeah, I know.
I will say, after the first movie, I was dreading watching the second one. After the second one, I'm looking forward to seeing how it all plays out.
Rein in those expectations, boy.
Fair enough.
Right. What a jip. The Desolation of Smaug doesn't have Smaug desolated, which is empty or destroyed. Of course, yeah, Dale is destroyed. That's the desolation. Now, I enjoyed this movie way more this time round. Maybe it's because I'm more engaged as we're reviewing it, and I enjoyed more of Stephen Fry's lines. A decade of hating the sexy dwarf love storyline braced me for it, and Smaug is still marvellous. The greatest calamity. Lots of CGI and action hasn't aged well, and despite 3 hours, we don't spend much time admiring the beautiful scenery and breathtaking beauty of New Zealand. Big bang of filler. Ultimately, Gandalf's journey was finding out Sauron's back. Not yet, though. Okay. Never-ending barrel ride, orcs laying siege to a shit-heap town, so many superfluous action bits, Legolas and Toriel being there in general, but it doesn't matter as the film delivered when it needed to. Smaug is a huge win, and Cumberbatch and Freeman playing off each other, toying and cajoling, deceiving and tricking was captivating and easily my second favourite bit of the trilogy after Riddles in the Dark. Good movie, cut half it out, and it could be a great movie.
I think that's 100% agreement there, boys.
Yeah. Yeah,
oh, well.
Very rare for OSW.
Man, Laketown fucking sucks.
Laketown.
I hate them. Tell them to sod off. Go back into that toilet that you came from. And now it's the halfway point of the show, and it's time for the Oddbreak Questionarium. Ooh, you're gonna love it, mate. Who has held the One Ring the longest?
Wow.
Do you want to have a think?
I'm going to have a think about it.
Do you want to think about it? Okay, yeah. All right. See you in the second half for the post-show game show.
Down, down, down in Goblin Town.
Question for the Oddbreak Questionarium was, who has held the One Ring the longest?
I'm going to go for Gollum.
Sauron.
Fucking hell. Okay, so number 3, Gollum with 478 years. Number 2, Sauron with 1,850 years.
I'm like twice better than you. It's great. Like bigger fans, Steve.
4 times better. And number 1, The River. 2,520 years.
Get the boat on the river.
Hey! If you just want to fill it out, who else has had it?
Riverdale.
Number 4, Bilbo with 60 years. Number 5, Frodo with 17 years. Number 6, Isildur with 2 years, and he lost it in the river. Number 7, Samwise. He had it for a couple of hours after Frodo gets taken by Shelob. Number 8, Deagle, who held it for a few minutes just before Smeagol got to him. And number 9, Tom Bombadil, who held it to look at it. Book only, obviously. After saving Frodo and the lads between the Shire and Bree in Fellowship, they get stuck in a tree, Old Man Willow. Tom, he actually has a look at the ring and he puts it on and he doesn't turn invisible. And he takes it off and gives it back to them. And it's like, so they're saying, oh Jesus, Tom Bombadil, is he like an angelic being that is like more powerful than Gandalf? And so let's just leave him out of the story. And he was actually made for people to muse on what is Tom Bombadil, you know. Nice. And number 10, a couple of seconds in the lava lake in Mount Doom before it plopped.
The old ploppy.
Anyway.
But it's funny that he'd call out the lava and a river, but Frodo would have had it in a chest for most of those years. So did chest hold it?
Ooh, see, he knows where it is, so I wouldn't count it.
Okay, fair enough.
I like that. I'm just going to DQ 2 things. Boromir, he held it for a minute. Do you remember when they're on slopes of the mountain and he picks it up and it's the first perspective giant ring that only PJ put that in the movie, that's not in the books. And DQing the plinth as well when the ring was put on the plinth.
Because James Nesbitt was dancing on it.
He scuffed his shoes, he kicked it off and back to Frodo. People knew where it was. Technically still Frodo's. Kind of like when you put the belt, not a ladder match, you put the belt on the ring, it's still yours. Anyway, did you enjoy that Outbreak questionnaire?
It was my favourite one so far in 100 and whatever episodes.
It's also coincidentally the first Lord of the Rings APQ.
And I learned something today.
Yeah.
That also may be the longest ad break questionnaire, which is quite fitting for Lord of the Rings themed as well.
Yeah, very good.
Should there be an extended edition of this review? A 3 hour, 6 minute call.
Bilbo Baggins, the bravest little hobbit of them all.
Alright, welcome to part 2 of our Desolation of Smaug deep dive. It's our post-show game show where we're gonna go through film and book differences, the extended edition, its reception, then OC will review the behind-the-scenes appendices, I'll review a Hobbit adaptation, and V1 will review a Hobbit video game. Film versus book differences. Okay, so it's 3 hours, 6 minutes, adapting chapter 7 to 12 of Tolkien's children's book, 82 pages, as well as Unfinished Tales, The Quest of Erebor, and Lord of the Rings Appendix A Part 3, Durin's Folk, which is where Peter Jackson nabbed the whole Gandalf Dol Guldur subplot. Originally, it happened 91 years before Bilbo's adventure. That's where Gandalf gets the map and key. Thrain went mad after losing the ring. The kicker is that Thrain forgot his name and his son's name, and Gandalf didn't piece it all together until talking to Thorin at the Prancing Pony, and he gives the map and the key to him. Just a shout out, if you Google Vimeo Durin's Folk, you'll find Dustin Lee's amazing adaptation of it, retelling the entire Dol Guldur side plot, spanning all 3 Hobbit films, 68 minutes, free on Vimeo, lovely isolated backstory.
Nice.
Other differences the film has to the book that caught my eye. Obviously, Legolas isn't in The Hobbit, Radagast is only mentioned once, Gandalf mentions my good cousin Radagast to Beorn. Toriel is just for the film, same with the Master's Servant Alfred and Galadriel's cameo. The Necromancer is mentioned 3 times in the book and is never named Sauron. When Gandalf leaves the lads at Mirkwood, he just says he has business to attend to, and then kind of recounts it as driving the Necromancer from his stronghold afterwards. Azog was killed at the Battle of Moria 142 years ago, but was resurrected for the trilogy. His son Bolg takes his place at Battle of 5 Armies. So obviously no Bolg and no Legolas means no fight between Bolg and Legolas. In Mirkwood, the lads get across the water via an abandoned boat, not vines. No Legolas, please Lord of the Rings fans, watch the film. It means no Gimli Locket. But I did pop for the name drop.
Yeah, it was great.
Elven King doesn't have facial scars, those illusion powers. Your favourite bit where he walks up to Thorin and goes, "Whoa, look at my face." Acting. And Thorin isn't bitter about the elves abandoning them at the Fall of Dale. Solid choice to introduce this tension by Peter Jackson. They are carefully packed into the barrels with straw and seal the lid shut, and into a nice calm, wide river to Laketown. With no evil master, there's no smuggling them in. The dwarves go right to the master and announce their intentions. Sexy dwarf isn't poisoned, so nobody stays behind. And the bard is only introduced when Smaug attacks, and he has no Irish kids going, "Ah!" Getting into the Lonely Mountain, it's the last ray of sunlight that shows the way. Sunlight, not moonlight in the film. Only Bilbo encounters Smaug. The dwarves all wait at the entrance tunnel like the greedy cowards they are. And
Thorin, eh? What a bollocks.
And finally, Smaug's belly is shiny. He's been sleeping on the dwarf gold for 2 centuries and it's become embedded into him. Like a bejeweled jacket.
Yeah, a waistcoat.
A bejeweled waistcoat! Yes! Thanks so much to Kim for her research and general nerdery compiling this.
Fair play to you, Kim.
Oh, see, okay, in the first Hobbit review I showed you the Ricky Gervais cover of the Hobbit. Could you please review this cover of the 1984 French edition of Bilbo le Hobbit?
Bilbo le Hobbit. Oh dear. Well, I don't see Pop and Snap here. Crackle's there, all right.
Do you like his Krusty the Clown pants? Those are supposed to be baggy.
And his feet. Did it somebody knit him both the vest and the shoes at the same time?
And his hair matches.
And his hair. He knit his fucking hair. And Steve, do you see Lisa Simpson in the foreground there?
Brilliant.
She's watching. She's at the movies.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah. I like that, like his hair, the kind of gold balls.
Yeah.
It's like, what bar is he? A pyramid of Ferrero Rocher?
Or what 90s cereal is he? Corn Pops. You remember them?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Hey, you like that one?
This is a drawing. That's the best they could come up with. I mean, it's not about technology. You can use crayons. Crayons have been around a long time.
Like, when was this brought out? Because I'm pretty sure whatever decade this was done in, artists were better than this.
84.
Oh, 84!
84.
Jeez. Solid. Well, you know, the publisher's daughter got a payday, so, you know. There you go.
Either our little friends return triumphant, or old Smaug dines on dwarf for a day or two.
The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug, Extended Edition.
Ooh, a quick tiffle about the extended edition. We get 26 minutes of additional footage, 160 up to 186, 31 changes, most of which are little additional snippets of dialogue originally cut out, but we get 6 alternative scenes, 3 with different editing, 3 with digitally edited bits, and 3 where the theatrical edition is longer. So if you do an extra scene in the extended edition, you can cut out the summary in the theatrical version. Big differences, way more time with Beorn at the start. It helps, but doesn't do much for Beorn. It's like, he's mostly just grumpily acknowledging his house guests and the power struggles of Middle-earth. Nah. The big one is Thrain in the extended edition only, meaning that the chat at the start had the Prancing Pony talking about him is new, and finding him in Dol Guldur too. He's just painted out in the background in the theatrical version. And also they gave Gandalf his hat back for some reason. Okay. Additions in existing scenes is looking around Mirkwood a bit more, giving it the psychedelic atmos. The White Stag, that's new. Adding more lines between Stephen Fry and his dog's body for their political machinations. Overall, Extended Edition is much stronger. Weak side characters at least have a fighting chance. So 26 minutes well spent.
A big thank you to everybody who worked on Gollum. It is a complete marriage of skills.
You're a liar and a thief. It's mine. I won it. It was me. We only won because of me. And me.
How was it received? Accolades won 11 awards, no good ones. As in, what you win? Oh, MTV Movie Awards Best Fight. Orlando Bloom and Evangeline Lilly versus the Orcs.
Really?
General response is that it is better than part 1 because there's no singing, no washing dishes, you know, blunt the knives, bend the forks, Roger, man with a champion corp. But it overcorrects on the crazy CGI action, but overall has the same score on IMDb, 7.8. I did like Mark Kermode's summary. Best thing about it is Martin Freeman. It's good fun, but it could be shorter.
Yeah.
Theatrical release LA first, 2nd December 2013. 10 days later, New Zealand. The day after that, worldwide, December 13th. The regular edition DVD came out 4 months later, in April 2014, with the extended edition dropping November, almost a full year after the theatrical release, with over 9 hours of extras. OC. Chance for OSC, Captain of Gondor, to show his quality.
Well done, sir. I love it.
So OSC, DVD extras for the Desolation of Smaug.
What's this one? This is a third film. Is this the third film? No, it's the second film. I honestly don't even know. Is it? Don't even know what film we're doing.
So it won't disappoint anyone at the table, nor anyone listening. I've condensed this down to 1 page.
Oh, wow.
Impressive.
Okay.
9 hours into 1 page.
Well, I think I got 6.
Oh, wow.
I think I got 6.
Well, if it's anything like the appendices from the first movie, they come to a point where they're just going back over the same stuff again. So.
Exactly. From a different perspective. It's like we're going to talk to the actors about this first, and next time we'll talk to the director, and next time we'll talk to the producer, and then the best boy. And, you know...
I want to hear about the best boy.
It's Daddy Magic.
Who's the biggest boy in the Hobbit series?
It's
got to be Bomber.
Fantastic question.
Solid boy, yeah.
I would contend Bomber, because he's a boy, he's not a boy. If you know what I mean. I'd almost think he's too well known to be a boy.
Oin.
I'm talking that standard. Oin.
Billy.
Who?
Not
Killy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the level of boy.
Billy's
the
boy.
guy that was not, the guys that weren't mentioned in our review.
Exactly.
That didn't make it into the
boy
first.
eligible.
Yeah, okay.
So we'll start with Appendices Part 9 Into the Wilderland Part 1. A warm welcome, Laketown. And I'm just like,
Yeah,
I've just
no,
noted,
I can't wait to hear this.
oh yeah, like I've just noted something or anything that I thought might be somewhat interesting, and it probably won't be. In this one, Jackson very early on says they had to add characters and flesh them out as it became a trilogy rather than a 2-movie series. Basically, he's saying we had to put in filler versus what was in the book. Nothing we didn't know there. There was real fish in the barrels.
Nobody needs to know.
This is the quality.
How expensive are fake fish?
This is what we're looking at here.
Fish are very affordable.
So, and there's all sorts of fun and
Did
giggles.
he pause waiting for an applause?
So, in an unexpected journey, Ian McKellen was finding it difficult that he was in a separate room to the Hobbits because of the size difference. So, he was basically acting 2 tennis balls, essentially, on sticks, while everyone else was in a different room. He found it very difficult. So, in this case, Thorin was in a green room by himself, talking to tennis balls on sticks. Because of size difference, and the people of Laketown were normal size, and he was dwarf size. So, they had to do it in a green room.
Did he have a cry wank about it, or? Do you know what I mean?
If he had, he wouldn't be allowed. Richard Armitage doesn't deserve the space for a cry wank. Ian McKellen, he can do it all day long. Yeah. Oh, Stephen Colbert.
Oh, yeah.
He played an extra. He's a big fan of Lord of the Rings.
Was he in Laketown, or?
He was. Sorry. Like, it's, have a look.
Steve.
Have a look at the DVDs, boys.
I know Jack Black was on set.
Really? He wasn't in
But he wasn't in the film. Like, he did do like an MTV gag where he was at the Council of Elrond. It's like, what you do with the One Ring? He got drunk and he pierced his dick with the One Ring, and he has a Prince Albert.
It is a gift. You're damn right it's a gift.
So, Steve, I'm sure you could get the clip of Stephen Colbert on YouTube. I'm sure you don't need to delve into it.
I'm afraid I'll need you to.
It will have to be of a consistent quality.
Yes.
Okay, well then, just cut that out. I'm not having Steve watch 9 hours. No.
I'll find it.
Okay.
Did he do anything?
No,
like, it was just he was
really
in the background at Bree or something.
And he or in Laketown, and he got a sword for his troubles. He got a fucking sword just because he's famous.
It's pandering to,
isn't it?
Famous. Stop giving famous people free shit.
Exactly. They've already got loads of shit,
and they're the people who need it the least.
Exactly.
Give it to Steve.
All I want is a sword. So the next one, Business of the State, the Master's Chambers. This is where Stephen Fry and Alfred just talk about how they enjoyed working together. Well, you're hardly going to say you didn't.
Stephen Fry, he was a shit.
Yeah, he's standing over there. Shelter on the Long Lake, Bard's house. So I did find this interesting. We've got 2 versions of the house, the Bard scale and the Dwarf scale.
Okay.
Where the Dwarf scale is 1.42 times bigger. Very exact. It's like, and they're right beside each other on set. So you'd walk into one, feel like a giant, walk into the other and feel like a normal.
That's cool.
Person, yeah.
Pity it's Laketown, though.
I know, because Laketown.
Like, do you want to visit it? No.
Yeah, exactly. In the halls of the Elven King, the Woodland Realm. Nope, no comment. I have nothing to say about that. Flies and Spiders, Mirkwood Forest. Here we learn the important trivia that Peter Jackson drinks 22 cups of tea per day.
That's quite excessive.
That's a lot of caffeine, mate.
It is. He might have is there decaf tea? Does that
it's
exist?
Gross, like, but
is
yeah.
It? Okay.
Good. Listen, he does good work with it, so I won't mess with it.
I'll give him a pass.
Yeah.
The next section, Quaah Lodgings.
Quaah Lodgings.
Beorn's house. Baby Beorn's house. One interesting part in terms of scaling, they had 1 normal size axe and 1 large axe for the dwarves to walk past. But Peter Jackson didn't like the size of the normal axe. It was too small.
Okay.
So they had to run and find a blacksmith in the local town and get him to do it within 45 minutes, bring it back. Yeah, I'd imagine Peter Jackson, while he seems lovely, I'd say like every successful director, I'm sure, is a bollocks when they want to be.
Oh my God. They must make thousands of swords and axes or whatever. You don't have anyone on set that does this?
No.
Like, just hire out your man?
No.
It reminds me of the Witch King. He had a massive mace as well, and he was saying, "Oh, it's too small. Get a crazy size one." So they got him a massive one. It's like, that's it. That's the one. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see it. Yeah.
That's fine, but I can imagine him like saying, "No, fuck off and get the axe," you know, and the panic.
Yeah.
Next section, on the doorstep, the Lonely Mountain. Benedict Cumberbatch actually turned up on set occasionally, but he didn't do anything. He's just there to say hello.
For a laugh. Did he start rolling around in his sheepskin robe? That's so cool though. He just wants to hang around. That's awesome.
That's great. Like he probably flew out to New Zealand to say hello. So yeah, fair play to him. Barrels out of Bond, the Elven sluice.
What's a sluice?
It's the gate, isn't it?
Yeah.
The gate in the water.
What a great word.
What I found interesting here is how they had to simulate the water flow for the CGI. So they said it's very difficult to do. And they were showing half-rendered CGI. So like when they were doing the testing, it was like X-Men Origins Wolverine. It was that level of CGI.
A clip that makes it into most OSW. Get really good use out of it.
This was the last appearance of Andy Serkis in a Tolkien-related movie set. It was not that emotional. I thought like there was a bit of a hug, him and Peter Jackson, but there wasn't like in An Unexpected Journey where Elijah Wood was, you know, very emotional with Ian McKellen and Peter Jackson. Yeah, he was like, yeah, see you around, you know.
Was he second unit director this time around as well?
Yeah, but I'm assuming because they're like all filmed in mishmashy, he was probably like, yeah, you're covered for the next movie as well. I don't know. That was him out the gate.
Yeah.
Off he goes.
No sword for him?
No. Yeah, you didn't get a fuck. Honestly, the last scene is him just walking into the dark. Like, yeah, poor guy.
Someone's got his garbage bag full of his stuff that they chipped out from his office.
Johnny A's giving it to him.
Who's that? Mickey James?
Yeah, James.
She got kicked out of the arena with her stuff.
She
like
got
her
sacked.
baggy of crap.
And then she got her gear in a black bag.
Yeah, garbage bag.
They couldn't have said, brought her into the office, sorry, Mickey, you're gonna have, I'm sure she would have just walked out quietly. No, they had to chuck it out in the street.
Couldn't get her a box.
Fucking
This is pretty fucking accurate. How I got my stuff. Thanks, WWE.
So, the last section that I covered, Appendices, Part 10, The Journey to Erebor. First subsection, Summoning Smaug, Last of the Fire Drakes. Subsection B, The Last and First Dragon. So I found this quite funny. They were nervous, the CGI people, the animators, whatever you want to call it, they were nervous about designing Smaug because that's basically the main event is what everyone wanted to know. Probably spent 50 minutes talking about it. We had this design and we had that design. And what did they finally come up with? A dragon. That's it.
I mean, that's what he is, right?
They settled on a dragon. There was nothing special about this dragon. It was a good-looking dragon, but it was a dragon.
Yeah, I think they were like, oh, Komodo dragon? Nah, the dragon.
Yeah, it's just a dragon.
Fine, yeah.
Then subsection A2.
Fuck.
Conversations with Smaug. And this is when Benedict Cumberbatch was doing his
rolling around in his own filth
on the sheepskin rug in front of a roaring fire. That was basically all covered here. But you know, good luck to him.
Rolling around
in his own filth like a pig.
PJ is so nice to accommodate him.
It is,
like, because we're not going to use it. You can do it. We'll be present for it. But we're not going to use it.
Like, but he's like, go on, out you go then. Like, I don't know why they were even pretending to film him. Well, they should have. Okay, fair enough. Set up a camera, everyone go home, and he's there all night. It's not even recording. So
the camera's not plugged in.
It's just a box.
My wings are a hurricane.
That was right.
Yeah.
So no, I definitely don't. I don't think I recommended The Unexpected Journey, and I definitely don't recommend watching this.
The extras.
No, I left out. I certainly wasn't going to go into detail, but there was a lot of, oh, we're having fun in the barrels, and look at his fat suit. There was a lot of that, but I was like, I'm done with this now. The camaraderie is fantastic, and I commend you for it. I'm just not involved in it, so I don't want to see it anymore. So no, there was that kind of
okay,
we're having fun element, but I wasn't.
Nice souvenir to show the neighbors back home, if I ever get home.
A review of the Rankin Bass 1977 animation of The Hobbit. Rankin Bass, founded by Arthur Rankin Jr. and Jules Bass in 1960 as Videocraft International, they made tons of animated holiday specials like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Frosty the Snowman, but also non-holiday titles like Thundercats.
Ooh,
and the Jackson 5. Tolkien-wise, they made The Hobbit and Return of the King, which is different than Ralph Bakshi's Return of the King. You know, the one with the dodgy rotoscoping.
Yeah.
You know,
That's amazing.
Yeah. Such an ambitious project, it was co-produced with Japanese company Topcraft, who went on to become Studio Ghibli.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, The Spirited Away, My Neighbor Totoro, Castle in the Sky, first aired the Sunday after Thanksgiving 1977, November 27th. Let's do it!
Gandalf? Not the Wandering Wizard, per se.
Kicks off with Misty Mountain. The music is quite striking, moody and apprehensive. The dwarves recount how they lost their home, but also big bang of 70s. Like, it goes into kind of easy listening folk music. Song kicks in. The greatest adventure is what lies ahead.
Hurry onward, Lemmywinks, or you will soon be dead.
Yeah, Lemmywinks,
That's
the
awesome.
South Park song, yeah.
The greatest adventure is what lies ahead. Today and tomorrow are yet to be said.
A great adventure is waiting for you ahead. Hurry onward, Lemmywinks, or you will soon be dead.
Brilliant. What do you think of the art style there?
Oh, it's fugly, man. Like,
It's very 70s.
it's so bad, Steve. Steve, get a load of that.
He's a goosey.
Get a load of that. He looks like a
Whoa.
toad.
Bilbo is wildly cretinous.
He is, isn't he?
My goodness. Is that Gandalf?
That's Gandalf, yeah.
He's quite menacing
Yeah,
looking,
he is
isn't
a
he?
bit.
Yeah, dwarves are long and sinewy bodies. Gandalf, particularly wiry, played by John Huston, who was amazing, also the narrator. Whilst the Hobbit is a proper blobbit.
Yeah.
And beautiful watercolour backgrounds. The tone, peril, but it's children's peril. I can imagine young'uns being scared of the orcs, spiders, and Gollum. Since it's a condensed retelling of The Hobbit in 78 minutes, it flies from big scene to big scene. No faffage. But yes, it's a children's tale. Bilbo's most out-of-character moments, his response to help the dwarves, he's like, "Eee!" What? Before he signs the contract.
Is this the adventure you've planned for me? To help you recapture the gold?
None other.
All of the major plot beats are here, just told in a straightforward and much more efficient manner. Like Bilbo's, "We're off on an adventure!" 10 minutes in.
As opposed to like 46 or something.
I'll go through how this differs from Peter Jackson's vision. The trolls, they just look like big dwarves, to be honest. They didn't steal the dwarves' horses. They push Bilbo into pilfering their food for themselves. Gandalf saves the day, literally turning night into day. I was like, holy shit, you're powerful.
That's insanely powerful.
Did you just change the physics of Middle-earth? Do you know what I mean? In the book, he mimics their voices to get them to argue until dawn. Elrond is depicted with a crown of little stars. It's pretty cool, and he just reads the map for them. In the mountain, the Goblins' badass theme song precedes them, and it's like, "Yo ho, my lord, ho ho, my lord, fight, fight. And it's like, it was pretty badass, you know.
But do they drink all day and smoke all day?
Heavy bass line, emphasis on it, very 70s, amazing job, Glenn Yarborough. Gollum is like a sleepy grey toad, far more grotesque than doe-eyed Andy Serkis. The way he moves, it's like he's blind, like living in a darkened cave, explaining why his eyes are so big in general, let as much light in. He often doesn't look directly at Bilbo. It's quite unsettling. Oh, there's one swear in the film when Gollum gets the answer right. Bilbo freaks and says, "Oh, bugger."
Ah, eggs. Eggs it is.
Oh, bother.
When Gollum swims off, the side profile of him, I was like, I hope that's not based on the actor. Oh, brother Theodore. It's not, though. Bilbo hot dogs outside. Being a burglar, you have to be invisible. And Gandalf catches on and says, oh, your story has the ring of truth, right? Say no more, say no more. Tap the nose. Gandalf sods off again. He does that just all in the film. But gives Bilbo the map. Keep a log so I can tell you what you did wrong later. Man, this is a tight film. It like hit Jackson's Desolation of Smaug, Mirkwood 40 minutes in.
Wow.
Whoa.
Which is what? 3.5
That's a little bit too quick.
No Beorn, who is easily excisable. No Radagast, no Sauron or Necromancer, no Thranduil either. Mirkwood Spider has a granddad beard. Stabbed it in the face, but there's no sound effect. It's just a twirly screen effect. And it was like, I've heard a death sound before, and it's like, and it's actually, there's an audio track missing from like the Blu-ray release.
Okay.
And when you see it, yeah, they must have been lost to time, and you'd have to track down a VHS to find the proper version. Like when the ogres grab the horses and pull them into the cave, they go, but there's just nothing in the cartoon.
Look out!
The wood elves are much scarier looking, like kind of bug-like ogres. Their legs are long and thin, like I think praying mantises.
Yeah, they definitely look less human. They look more alien.
Quite dangerous looking. They explain the barrels, and it only takes them like 10 seconds. The wood elves love their wine, and they show it being delivered by humans. And the dwarves stow away in the barrels on a lazy river.
Oh, stop complaining. I never promised to burgle you first-class accommodation.
Stoops and shadow, grey and grim.
There's no Stephen Fry, so no power struggle. Bard the guardsman just offers support immediately, saying Thorn's dad is famous and in all their songs and tales feeds, waters and equips the lads and sends them on their way. Right before Smaug, in the animation and in Peter Jackson's version, they force Bilbo to go in first alone, and in the book he offers to go in on his own. But in the book, Bilbo puts on the ring immediately, no faffing about. In this animation, it's 21 seconds, and then in the film, it takes him 26 seconds to put it on. You like Smaug there?
He looks a bit woolly, doesn't he?
A bit woolly.
Bit of a woolly bully.
Yeah, he is a bit of a woolly gully woolly. No, he looks dreadful. Do you want to have a look at the woolly bully? Yeah, here's a woolly bully face, Steve.
He looks like, is it Scar out of the Lion King?
Yeah.
Okay.
The kind of fur.
Yeah,
on
he's
the
very, very cat-like.
Yeah, pointed ears, fur on the sides. Personality is kind of cranky old man type. He's very dismissive.
I am strong, strong, strong! My wings are hurricanes!
He's already awake. His eyes are like searchlights. And he just says, I'll set Laketown afire for this intrusion. Not plotting, just for the inconvenience. Bilbo easily tricks Smaug to show him his belly welly. He just says, I heard you were soft underneath. And he's like, I'll show you. And he inadvertently shows the chink in his armour. He burgles not the Arkenstone. There's no mention of the Arkenstone. But just a nice chalice, just for fun. So that's just like Beowulf, where it's the slave that steals a chalice, you know. He asks the thrush to tell Bard about Smaug's weak spot. And Bard uses a regular bow with a black arrow to take down Smaug. Smaug, who's in the sky, thousands of meters away. How would you attempt to even track a target who's flying around? But he's got the accuracy of an elf. Bang, bullseye, takes him down, and they make him king.
Hey.
And he goes up to Bilbo, and he's like, oh, well done. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
My people have made me king.
King? Really? Congratulations. couldn't happen to a nicer chap, really.
With Smaug slain, spoilers, now there's the issue of who gets his gold. The dwarves heel turn saying, all of the gold is ours. We're not sharing a single coin. We're not sharing shit with everyone who helped us or those who've been decimated for generations by Smaug. They'd rather die than share. So that's how it's going to be. 14 versus 10,000.
I can see this happening in the third movie. Thorin he's a dick.
You're a top baby face.
Yeah.
Bit of a dick. So it'll be a big fight then. The battle of 5 armies. The army of men, the army of wood elves, and an army of dwarves from the Iron Hills, Thorin's cousin. An army of ogres, and the eagles make 5. In the book, it's wargs who are number 5. We're not animating a battle, so there's just a giant cloud of smoke from very far away. Thorin's gravely injured, but lives long enough to make up with Bilbo. Gandalf recounts the adventure.
Smaug is gone and the goblins driven away. The dwarves and elves live in peace, and the men thrive, multiply, and build a civilization. And at Bag End, Bilbo finishes writing There and Back Again, A Hobbit's Holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A Hobbit's Holiday. Very much, very low key.
Yeah. So how many minutes?
78.
Pleasant.
Wow.
You take only 2 tiny bags of gold home with you? Your share was greater.
It's all my pony could carry, and it's more than I'll ever need.
But you have other prizes.
The ring? Oh, yes. I'll keep it as a souvenir, in a glass box on the mantle.
Ha!
Oh man, like very easygoing, well made, well condensed. It didn't feel rushed. Maybe that's because I just know the story over and over now. Fine children's entertainment, just the art style and music is extremely dated. Like you can't hide how 70s it is. Way over delivered for an old animated TV kids movie. Music is great, voice acting is on point. John Huston as Gandalf, brother Theodore as Gollum, Orson Bean as Bilbo, all Stormers, warm and memorable. I can see why people who grew up on this say that these are the definitive voices of the characters. Recommended.
If you really understood that ring, someday members of your family not yet born will, then you'd realize that this story has not ended, but is only beginning.
Especially with the insane CGI and action-heavy approach, it feels like a video game, as we're hurtled from big scene to big scene. Intro cutscene, trippy Far Cry 3 scene in Mirkwood, barrel ride water level, scale the mountain platformer, defend Lakewood third-person shooter, chat to Smaug, I was thinking like LA Noire, press X to fawn.
Oh.
Yeah. Mad dash QTEs to light the forges and get Smaug to sod off. Steve, let's review a Hobbit. No, you review a Hobbit video game. What have you got for us, sir?
Lads, I played Lego The Hobbit. Developed by Traveller's Tales and released in April 2014, Lego The Hobbit is a third-person action-adventure game spanning the first 2 movies, because fuck you, Battle of 5 Armies, is how I imagine the chat went in the boardroom.
It was brought out right before Battle of 5 Armies came out, and I was like, do you know the story of it?
I know that there was rumoured Battle of 5 Armies DLC, but unfortunately it was cancelled, and no plans were ever announced to bring it out as a standalone game. So if you want to see how the story ends, you got to break out the DOS again and work my way through that fucking game.
Yeah.
Released on PS3, PS4, PS Vita, Xbox 360, Xbox One, Wii U, 3DS, and PC.
Yeah.
Shoveled it out there, didn't they? I just did a little bit of background info. Since 1985, there have been over 85 Lego licensed games. Most of them are, smaller. They're on like Mac and PC, and it's like Lego theme park ride, Lego hospital kind of stuff. And it wasn't until 2005 when Traveller's Tales began to pick up the big licenses that we got Lego Star Wars, the original trilogy, Lego Star Wars, the complete saga, Lego Indiana Jones 1, Lego Indiana Jones 2, Lego Batman 1 and 2, Lego Rock Band.
This is taking the piss, by the way.
Lego Harry Potter, years 1 through 4. Lego Harry Potter, years 5 through 7. Lego Clone Wars. Lego Pirates of the Caribbean. Lego Lord of the Rings. Lego Hobbit. Lego Marvel Superheroes. Lego Jurassic World. Lego Avengers. Lego Force Awakens. Lego Incredibles. Lego Marvel Collection. And most recently in 2022, Lego Skywalker Collection. Holy shit.
Have you played any of the other ones?
I played a little bit of Lego Star Wars with you back on the Xbox 360, and up until today I had never beaten a Lego game. I've played an hour or two of them here and there. I find them very simple, very basic. They're not particularly gratifying to actually play, although very charming in their look and cutscenes and things like that. But anyway, on to 2014's Lego Hobbit.
Welcome, Master Baggins, to the company of Thorin Oakenshield.
Graphics. Gorgeous looking little game. Absolutely beautiful. I played this on PC, bought it on Steam, was able to whack it up to 4K, and the game looks lovely. A few issues here and there. It can get a bit jittery every now and again. There's a little bit of screen tearing, but not much. But without question, my favourite part of the game is how it looks and how it deals with the kind of plot of the game. Like the cutscenes are whimsical. Like Azog, when Thorin chops off his hand, the hand then turns into the thing from the Addams family. And it literally follows him over the entire course of the game and like waves at him and goes like, me, 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 me. So, you know, it's like things like that. They have this pig who, for some reason, shows up throughout the entire game and just like makes little comedy noises and falls, and they're so adorable. It's lovely.
When they're in Beorn's barn and they're sleeping, one of the dwarves is spooning the pig.
Yeah.
And there's a bit in Lakewood when everything shit's about to go down. In the background, the pig is on a rowboat by himself getting out of town.
Yeah.
Yeah, really
it's super cute. And probably my favourite little character part. Do you remember in the first movie when the dwarves are climbing up through the mountain and there's the massive golem giants and the two of them are fighting? Well, one giant punches one and its head flies off and he kind of turns around to the camera and does the yes! I was like, that's super cute. The audio. Music and voice work lifted directly from the movie.
Oh, that's good.
Like isolated audio tracks.
Yeah, which is both a positive and a negative. The positives is like it gives kind of weight to some of the scenes, you know, like the scene where Thorin watches his dad being killed and like, no! And on the flip side of that, you're getting, you know, excellent actors acting their way through a powerful scene. And what you're seeing is, you know, a comedy little piece of plastic, pratfalling and rolling around and pigs running across the screen. I'd say that the place where this becomes the most obvious is during the scene where Bilbo is having his back and forth with Smaug. The characters are kind of whispering back and forth and they're not shouting. But meanwhile, I'm playing the game and I'm fucking smashing scenery and gold chairs and, you know, clank, clank, clank. And he's like, oh, I will find you a hobbit. So, you know, once again, it's a bit jarring. It's a double-edged sword.
You seem familiar with my name, but I don't remember smelling your kind.
I personally preferred the older Lego games where they didn't have voice acting and it was more kind of like, you know, cheeps and chirps and bleeps and bloops and things like that.
Just what you were saying, it's crazy that they have voice acting in this because the whole fun of the Lego is that they pantomime it.
Yeah.
And they get the story across without talking. My favourite pantomime bit is in Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. Vader has to tell Luke, I'm your father, but he's mute. So he whips out a photo of Anakin, Padme and baby Luke.
Adorable. If I was going in playing this Hobbit game and I hadn't seen the movies and if there wasn't acting, I wouldn't really know what was going on, you know?
But they do have Christopher Lee voice, like animated maps bringing you from scene to scene.
I didn't know that was him until the very end of the game. I actually thought that that was someone doing an impression of Gandalf. But it turns out that it's Christopher Lee and he's not credited on the actual game. Very weird.
Don't like that.
Ragged and weary from their travels, the company emerged from the hidden pass to find themselves near Rivendell.
Gameplay.
Yeah.
Very basic.
Well,
you
it's
know?
a Lego game.
Yeah, like it's not bad by any stretch, but it's literally running around a semi-open area, smash everything that's there to collect your Lego bits and studs, fight a few enemies. Like the combat's super basic. You just mash X and you're going to win.
Who did you use most?
I would say that Owen, Philly, you'll use Bomber like a couple of times. So there's bits where you have to get up somewhere high, and there's a little area for like Bomber to lie down, and you go over to him and you feed him, and his belly gets big, and you can jump on it and then bounce up to
Fantastic.
higher places. Yeah.
It sounds a bit like the Lost Vikings or Trine or something.
Yeah.
Don't think it would be as intense puzzle
Definitely
as
not.
Trine. Like it's
Definitely
children's puzzle kind of thing.
Trine.
But talking about playing as different hobbits, this is where I feel the game outshines the movies multiple fold here, okay? So like there's a massive block, and the only person who can move that is Dwalin, because he's got a massive hammer. So that makes you play as him. And then there's a different part where you have to hit a target, but the only one with a bow is Philly. And so you have to use him. And then there's a different bit where you have to use like a hook shot. And so you have to pick Owen and play as him. And it turns out that the most useless character in the game is Thorin. Because because the only thing he can do is swing a sword.
Yeah.
And complain.
And moan. But every character has a weapon. And so I found myself never using him.
What's the one ring? How is that in the game?
So you can use Bilbo's ring during the game. Certain areas where you have to attack enemies, you can't just walk up to the spiders. So you have to put on the ring. By the way, the ring is huge and it fits over his whole hand.
Yeah.
And the other times that you have to use the ring is there are certain blocks to like make steps and things to solve puzzles. There are ones that are like whited out and you can't use them. And the only way to use them is to put on the ring, and then you can make things out of them. So yeah, it's kind of cool how they use the ring.
Are you always around an area and you collect studs? Like
you're basically jumping on platforms, fighting enemies, building things to solve very simple basic puzzles. And that's pretty much it. Like, so, you know, overall, solid game, lots of fun. Like 6.5, mostly due to the charm. So yeah, solid little game.
Don't like this you playing good game, Steve. Not having it.
You have to get me to play something shit again.
Get you some bollocks, please. Thank you, Stephen.
Very
yeah,
well.
pretty good. I just want to quickly shout out to Cosmic Adventure Squad, who made a 7-minute little browser game called Deepest Sword, where you're a knight and you have to clumsily make your way to a dragon and stick your big sword into her belly hole.
Can't put my lips on.
They go there. Like she just gives you sass for having such a tiny sword. Every time you do, she burns you alive and you come back with a bigger sword and bigger sword and bigger sword. Half the game is trying to figure out how to get through the dungeon because you kind of go on a fulcrum and it blocks your way.
Okay.
So her quips, is it even in? Hehe, that tickles. Felt something that time. What a long sword you have. Oh, so deep. And finally, wait a minute. Free browser game made in 72 hours at a game jam. Super cute. The Deepest Sword by Cosmic Adventure Squad.
They left out one where the dragon said, wrong hole.
Any hole's a goal, Steve.
Yeah.
So we've reached the end of our time in Hobbiton? Not quite. There's room for a little more. He's got the book. Yeah.
The book. And
Can I give you a couple of my tidbits / trivia factoids and that kind of. Is that
may
right?
not, sir, because that was my section.
Yeah,
You're going to anyway, so you might.
Oh, fantastic!
Just know that he doesn't want to hear it.
Yes. Yeah.
Smaug. The word Smaug derived from Smugen, or in German, to slither or crawl through a narrow space. Worth noting, dragon in Polish is
Smaug.
Yeah, Stephen.
Smaug.
Yeah, very good. Influences. Okay, in Beowulf, a slave steals a jeweled cup, which is how Beowulf's dragon wakes up. So it's a very similar situation where it's sleeping on top of the pile of gold. Fafnir in Norse mythology, you might know him from God of War. Fafnir is one of the dragons. Anyway, he was a human who bickered with his bros over their inheritance, was cursed by the Andvari ring and gold, and the lust for the gold kind of physically twisted him into becoming a dragon. And he also talks, he blows poison, not fire, slain when he's stabbed in the shoulder by Sigurd. Bilbo intentionally doesn't tell Smaug his true name. He never says, I'm Bilbo, because it can enslave you to him. In mythology, as that goes. So he's always, I'm Barrel Rider. The Sea Dragon has a power of speech of seduction and guile and sowing doubt. No. Anyway, the eyes, searchlights on Smaug. In the book, there's red beams, and they did try it. Here's Smaug when he opens, there's a bit of red beams, and just this looks bollocks.
Like Superman.
Yeah, it was straight out. But they said, okay, listen, we'll incorporate it by when I get angry, it'll like glow a bit. He gets angry. Same with his Yeah, same with his belly welly. Kayfabe, not shoot because it doesn't exist, but like, how does he create fire? How does he breathe fire?
So I'm assuming his glands produce some kind of fuel.
Like lighter fluid?
Yes. Like Ricky Steamboat. Not that Ricky Steamboat had that power, but it was the same kind of idea. Now, and there's, he's probably got...
heartburn.
That's it. Yeah.
That'll do me.
Yeah,
that'll do me.
Last thing was the actual voice. Did you see any like Benedict Cumberbatch? Him trying it in his real voice, how he pitched doing the audition.
His audition, yeah.
And they like cut his head off. It was like, we'll just take it so we just hear the voice, and that's how we got it.
Oh yes, Barrel Rider. You may walk unseen, but you did not walk all the way on your own.
I did like he was on Graham Norton and he was like, oh, go on, do the voice. And he does it. And you're one, like, he comes out and does the voice. And it's like, I'm quite scared and aroused.
Smaug the Dragon is back.
Oh, God. Do you want me to do that as well?
If you can.
So, Miranda.
Oh, my God.
Is your heart beating faster? Slower than before.
It's arousing and terrifying in equal measure. I'm very confused right now.
And just when doing PR tour for it, Martin Freeman and Andy Serkis are there, so Gollum and Bilbo. Andy Serkis just asks him, here, who does a great impression of Gollum? Martin Freeman, will you do it? And he's like, no, I'm terrible. Okay. And he just gets out one word. He's just like, his Gollum impression. Oh! Jesus.
Sounds like Ook. Vince is doing like a throat burner, and then Jay's like, Steve, can you do your Vince? And you just go,
and you just got to do it and be bad.
Okay, go on.
So listen, you'll have to come back for round 3, Battle of 5 Armies. What do you think?
I can't fucking wait.
Oh, I am ready.
Yeah, I'm so happy you like this one much better.
Way better.
That's great.
Like I said, if something's good, and this was a good one.
So if you want to watch our Hobbit 1 review again, Marvel is one of my favourite things we've ever recorded and produced and stuff. It was tremendously difficult. Had like an animation bit and had a video games prize from our HoraceDev, Paul. I can't see my sprites. So anyway, if you want to see some awesome stuff, keep more videos like this crazily ticking along whatever we've got in the insane leaking sponge map. You can slip us a couple of bucks at
nuggeru.oswreview.com.
Or you could watch over 100 episodes on YouTube if we haven't got stricken down by then. So it's goodbye from V1.
Takaboo.
OC. And myself, unfortunately, still 2.5-time Golden Nogger Award winner. And remember, a winner is you.